Good morning. It's Good Friday, and tonight we're going to celebrate together and remember the crucifixion of Jesus as we gather at 7 o'clock for our Good Friday service. We hope you can join us. But this is the last video devotional during the Lent season. We've had a good journey so far. We've traveled with Jesus all the way from Upper Galilee down to Jerusalem. Today we're going to actually just observe the events that led up to the morning of Good Friday, so that kind of in our morning we now get to carry with us throughout this whole day just what was happening with Jesus. You'll recall with me that the night before was Maundy Thursday. We celebrated with our video service last night. You'll recall with me that Jesus orchestrated this night. He set it up. He knew he was going to do it. He had thought about what he wanted to say to these guys. He had made preparations in an upper room. He gathers his 12 disciples. He washes their feet. They're served the Passover meal. They retell the story at the end of the meal. Jesus reinterprets the elements. The wine, the bread now are his blood, his body. They'll never think about this meal the same way again. He then goes on to a long period of teaching between John 13 and 17, ending up with this high priestly prayer, this prayer of unity for his future church. We know that they conclude the evening by singing a hymn and going to the Mount of Olives. And there in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus allows 8 of his disciples to kind of sack down for the night. But 3 of them he asked to do a prayer vigil with him. Sit up with me, watch with me. And then he goes further, prays kind of this agonizing prayer. Father, is there any other way? Is there any other way to do the thing that we know we need to do? And yet he submits to the Father's will. And we see just kind of a readiness for Jesus, so that when the mob comes with torches and clubs to arrest Jesus, led by Judas, one of his disciples, Jesus stands, waits. He greets Judas by saying, Judas, are you going to betray me with a kiss? Judas does kiss him. He's led away. This is probably midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, and we know that those who sent for his arrest were prepared for this. They'd already sent out word. There's been a gathering at the high priest's home. This is where Jesus is taken. We know that at dawn, at daybreak, the whole Sanhedrin will be gathered. So they've been sending out emissaries, go get everybody, right? But in this prevening period, we have Jesus in the courtyard. We know that John and Peter followed them there. And Peter, to his great shame, denies Jesus 3 times. The last time we know that it's recorded that Jesus looks at him. Somehow there's the ability to interact with the people in the courtyard. In that time, you should know, though, that Jesus, here's what we read about that time. This time where he's just kind of being mocked and insulted, and they're trying to get evidence. It says this in verse 63 of Luke 22. The men who were guarding Jesus began mocking and beating him. They blindfolded him and demanded, prophesy, who hit you? And they said many other insulting things to him. This is what we do when we dehumanize someone, when we make them the other. When they're less than human. So in their minds, Jesus is blasphemous, a false prophet, right? So as soon as he becomes that other thing, now they can justify all kinds of horrendous behavior. These are righteous people. But now, because he's this blasphemer, now we get to do these things to him. And so Jesus underwent this. He understood what was going to happen. This is probably part of his agony. This is the part then I want to get to. At daybreak, the council of the elders of the people, both the chief priests and the teachers of the law, met together, and Jesus was led before them. If you are the Messiah, they said, tell us. Jesus answered, if I tell you, you will not believe me, and if I ask you, you would not answer, but from now on the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of the mighty God. They all asked, are you then the Son of God? He replied, you say that I am. Then they said, why do we need any more testimony? We've heard it from his own lips. It's obvious then that they concluded the claim of Jesus on the authority being the Son of God. This then leads to him being dragged to Herod and to Pilate and the rest of the day. But I guess I want you to sit today at dawn, at daybreak. Perhaps you're watching this first thing in the morning. This is Good Friday. Jesus in this very moment, beaten, spit upon, mocked, insulted. facing his accusers, states who he is, knowing clearly why he's come and what he's going to do and what comes next. That's our Lord, bravely facing what will be an excruciating death. As you think about this today, as you carry this, as you think about this being the beginning of the day, think with me about the sacrifice Jesus makes for you and for me, for his love for us. Grace and peace.